Okay, once again, we're back. This time we're going to be ordering some fractions. In this case, 3/8, 2/7, and 3/5. And again, this is another opportunity to remind ourselves that there are many ways to write numbers. So we want to put these in order from smallest to largest. And we're going to go about this doing two different methods. The first method is we're going to get all the denominators to be the same. And we'll see how that works out. Remember what we said. What we want to do is we want to multiply each fraction by the other fraction's denominators. Sometimes this is pretty straightforward, sometimes not so much. So I'm going to give myself more room here. I'm going to expand these. So I have to multiply each fraction, top and bottom, by the other fraction's denominators. Well, now in this case, I have two different denominators. So that means I'm going to have to multiply each fraction by the other's denominators. So this will be times 7/7. So that's this fraction. But then I also have to do this as well. Times 5/5. Remembering that 7 divided by 7 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So all these things. So I'm not changing how much this is, just how I write it. 7, I have to multiply it, top and bottom, by the other fractions, denominators, so 8. This one will be then times 5 on this one. 5, the other fractions denominators are 8 and 7, so 7, top and bottom by 7, top and bottom by 8. And you can see now that the denominators are all going to be the same because they're all 8, 5 times 7 times 8. 5 times 7 times 8. 5 times 7 times 8. So what is 5 times 7 times 8? Well, that's, I know 5 times 8 is 40, and 40 times 7 is the same thing as 4 times 7 with a 0. So now that means my denominator is going to be 280. And that'll be the same for all of these. So conveniently, I only have to figure out that one multiplication. But that's getting kind of unwieldy, right? 280. But let's finish things off here. So I have 3 times 7 is 21. And 21 times 5 is this. So I have 21 times 5. Well, that's the same thing as 20 times 5 plus 1 times 5. And 20 times 5 is 100. Plus 1 times 5 is 5. So this is going to be 105 over 280. Here I have 2 times 8 times 5. Oh, this is going to be a little more straightforward because 2 times 5 is 10 and 10 times 8 is 80. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 8 is 80. Here I have 3 times 7 is 21, and 21 times 8. Oh gosh, let's put that to one side. 21 times 8. If I do this, 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So, according to this, it looks like 2/7 is my smallest fraction, followed by 3/8, followed by 3/5. Okay, now, is it possible, though, to avoid having to deal with such large numbers? Well, yes, there is. Recall that a fraction, matter of fact, this is worth writing out. One thing a fraction is a division problem, right? So let's rework this one more time, and we can decide if changing all my fractions to division seems a little less work. So 2/7 is the same thing as 2 divided by 7. 3/8 is going to be 3 divided by 8. And 3/5 is going to be 3 divided by 5. So let's see. We may not have to go very far in our division. Let's see. So how many 7s can I get into 2? Well, 0. That means I'm going to have to put down a decimal and carry it up and add a 0. How many 7s go into 20? Well, I can get 2. 2 times 7 is 14. 20 minus 14 is 6. I bring down the 0. How many 7s can I get out of 60? Well, I can get 8. 8 times 7 is 56. That leaves me 4. I'm going to stop here rather than keep going because hopefully I won't have to go any further than hundreds in either of these other locations. How many 8s can I get out of 3? Well, 0. Bring down decimal point, or put down decimal point, bring it up, add a 0. How many 8s can I get out of 30? Well, I can get 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 minus 24 is 6. And I can already tell that this is going to be larger than this because 3/10 is definitely going to be larger. Is going to be larger than 28 hundredths. But if I go one more step just to make things interesting. How many 8s can I get out of 60? Well, I can get 7. 8 times 7 is 56. And I'll stop here even though it keeps going. And how many 5s can I get out of 3? 0. Out of 0, how many 5s can I get out of 30? Well, I get 6. And that ends right there. So I have 28 hundredths, 37 hundredths, and 6/10, which is the same thing, remember, as 60 hundredths. So we took our fractions and we rewrote them in 2 different ways. One method we did is we changed the denominators so that they matched. That was one method. The other method we did was change fractions into decimals. Now you get to decide for yourself whether one method is better than the other. Either way, it allowed us to be able to put the different fractions, our original fractions here, in order from least to greatest. Well, go off and practice yourself and dominate it.